What is up, my friends? I am Nick Anderson, also known as Amongst the Whiskey, and we are here to talk about all things Kentucky Bourbon Fest. It was this past weekend in Bardstown, Kentucky, and I was invited as part of the media. I got to spend the weekend bumping elbows with some of the best people in the whiskey industry. Not only that, but there were also fantastic pours to be had. I have to admit, I really didn't do all that much sipping. I, for one, don't really like drinking whiskey in super hot weather. I also am kind of an introvert, believe it or not. And so I found myself spitting a lot of the whiskey that I was sipping. That didn't stop me from going to a bunch of tents, sampling some of the best from each and every distillery. I made the rounds, made sure to say hi to friends like Val at Castle and Key, Andrea Wilson, Dan McKee from Michter's, Royce and Becca Sue from Neely Family Distillery, Chase at Nulu. Too many to name them all. And I met new friends too. Other people from the whiskey community, other media members, brand reps, master distillers, company owners that I never would have had access to otherwise. I even bumped into Steve Nally in a back alley, believe it or not, and got to have a long conversation with him. The proof is in the picture here. I handed out hugs, I handed out smiles, and if you saw me there, you may have seen me hand out a few of these. These are samples of my Infinity. Yep, that Infinity barrel. The one that just got 2 bottles of Russell's 15-year added to it. Yeah, that's the one. So expect to see a few reviews of this floating around the internet here soon. What I really want to do first and foremost is highlight who I think are the big winners from Kentucky Bourbon Fest 2024. My 2 big winners are, drumroll please, the Cherry Picker Single Barrel from Hidden Barn, distilled at the Neely Family Distillery. Becca Sue poured this one for me, and at first taste, I was hooked. It is delicious, unctuous, oily, viscous, old school style whiskey that nobody else can produce but Neely. If you tried Hidden Barn early on and got put off, now is your time to revisit this brand. They are distilling some of the best whiskey in the world. So kudos Neely, kudos Royce, Becca Sue. Keep up the great work. Keep making great whiskey. As for my second winner of Kentucky Bourbon Fest, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Michter's is producing some of the best whiskey right now. Their toasted barrel bourbon that Andrea Wilson brought out was delicious. The long conversation that followed was even better. Look for that one to start hitting shelves near you pretty soon, because that is a solid whiskey. But really, the big winners of Kentucky Bourbon Fest were all the enthusiasts that showed up and got unprecedented access to some of the finest whiskey. Not all of it has to be made in Kentucky, of course, but some of the best is made in Kentucky. And that was on full display in Bardstown this weekend. For those of you who got a sip of this, count yourself amongst the lucky ones, because this Infinity Barrel may have been the best thing that a lot of you tasted at Kentucky Bourbon Fest. I really didn't wait in a ton of lines because I've got a ton of whiskey at home already. I know my palate is not going to be all that sharp after 5, 10, 15 whiskeys. Granted, I was spitting. A majority of the people at this kind of event are not spitting. And that was pretty evident by some of the behaviors that were observed in between the tents. Not saying everybody's a bad egg, not saying alcohol is the devil or anything, but there were some people that needed to be reminded that drinking responsibly is both important and worthy of being celebrated. The people that I saw sipping very thoughtfully, my friend Jacob from Coming Whiskey, they had meaningful conversations with people. They sat down and took their time to actually pick apart a pour that they wanted to explore. Yeah, it's fun to sit there and knock a few back, have a good time, have laughs with your friends. But you don't need whiskey to do that. My favorite moments with the people were the ones in which compliments and appreciation were passed back and forth with a reverent gratitude. A gratitude that I feel. I am so grateful to be a part of this whiskey community. And I want to cherish everybody that's in it. I want everybody that's in this whiskey community to stay around. stay in this whiskey community, not have untimely and unfortunate accidents. So if I can reiterate, truly my favorite part of Kentucky Bourbon Fest were not my two big winners from Michter's Distillery and Neely Family Distillery, but the sweetest, most loving humans that I got to share the Kentucky Bourbon Fest with. This one's for you.